Welcome back, trainers. So I did go out today to do a little bit of shiny hunting to look for that possibly shiny Shuckle, and well, here we go, found one. 15 CP, I'm not too worried about it, I'm just happy I was able to find one. Now as far as the battle a gym 5 times for that Lapras and possibly shiny encounter, I don't think anybody's even reported one of those. I haven't seen any of them, so they're very rare, at least in our area for today, because the stops for the tasks do reset after midnight usually. I was having some problems with that actually back when the Scyther tasks were around, and they did not reset that midnight, so it was quite odd. And we're going to be looking at some egg hatches. I've been doing pretty good on them. Hatched a Riolu, and as well as 2 shinies back to back. This is absolutely mind-blowing to think that this happened. I can't even remember the last time I had such a big reaction to shiny Pokemon hatching. So check it out. We have the Cleffa hatching, and I must have hatched, I don't know, 20 of these so far. This 2-kilometer distance cut down is absolutely fantastic with the super incubator. So there we go. Shiny Cleffa number 1. And at this point I was extremely happy because I just caught my shiny Shuckle about a minute before this. So 2 shinies within that time span for me was pretty nice, especially out of the hatch there, and scratching the Shuckle off the list for that 1-day period. They're going to have that increased spawns. I was pretty happy, but I did not expect this next. So coming out of the 7-kilometer egg, we have a shiny Cleffa number 2. That's back to back 2 shinies of the same type. That's extremely rare. I can't even fathom that. So that's putting me at 4 shiny Cleffas total. I'm going to be evolving one in just a moment here to Clefairy, and I'm going to make it my buddy. And it's funny too because I did hatch these on 420. We're going to look at the log here so you can see yourself. So we go down here and see 2 Cleffas hatched back to back in the same minute on 420. And if we keep going down, we see the shiny Shuckle there just minutes before. So I'm pretty happy for this right here. So looking at the collection, 4 of them, as you can see, 2 with the blue highlighted in the background, indicating that they were recently hatched. So I will be evolving one of these in just a moment. It's going to be my highest CP. I don't want to evolve a second one into Clefairy and just keep it like that, because I do want these for trade value for people who want the baby shiny and possibly something that they have shiny that I want. So we'll be evolving this right now into Clefairy, and I'm going to make it my buddy. We're going to go ahead and go in there and evolve it into its last stage together here, because this is all pre-recorded. If you see that Persian there, that just means I'm recording it without the commentary. So there we go. Pretty amazing that I hatched both of these on the day that I did. Quite amazing. So there we go, made it my buddy. And we're going to go ahead and look at a few more hatches, and then let's go ahead and hop into the game and evolve it and talk about some more Nightmare Cup Pokemon, a few power-ups that I did, as well as recommendations and how well they're going up against other Pokemon in specific situations. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at this and evolve it. And then we're going to go into those Nightmare Cup Pokemon, some of them that I powered up here, because I think that they'll have some good potential in the future. Alright, so let's go ahead and do this. Let's evolve Alice, and that's what I named her. Nice shiny green ear tips there. So funny that I actually got 2 of these on literally this day. And it's green, so it's perfect. Alright, so I kind of wanted to keep it as a Clefairy, but Clefable works, and it's staying under 1500, so that works out perfectly. Let's just go ahead and power this up to around 1500 as a matter of fact. How much does it cost for a second move? Oh, it's only 10,000. We're going to go ahead and purchase that as well. This cannot participate in the Nightmare Cup, but that's alright. If we have some sort of Fairy Cup in the future, and I'll have this on standby if it's even going to be good. It's definitely going to go over there. Just checking. So let's go ahead and purchase that secondary move. We definitely want Meteor Mash. We don't want Psychic right now. So we're going to go ahead and TM that. There's that Moonblast. Okay, so it does have a good move pool now. Come on, Meteor Mash, Psychic. Okay. Like I know I said I had a lot of TMs, but I ran through a bunch of them. Switching moves. I had about 25, and now I'm down to this. All right, we're just going to try one more time. If we don't get Meteor Mash, we're good here. Psychic again. Okay. Maybe if I back out. Back out. Back out. Let's see. Come on. Please. I mean, that's... Can't we just pick the move? If it, like, happens 3 times, we should be able to, like, pick it. Or maybe... Oh, there we go, finally. Or maybe if we, like, put 3 TMs into it that we can actually pick the move we want. But for a lot of Pokemon, their move pools only have 3, you know, for their charge moves. Therefore, you'll be able to just TM it simply and get it right away. But for some other Pokemon that have a bigger move pool, like this one here, it's going to be a bit more difficult to get that specific move, especially like Hitmonchan. Holy cow! If you have one already powered up and you're just trying to TM the correct moveset for it, good luck. I really, you know, good luck there. So do we want Zen Headbutt? I think we're going to go for Charge Beam for now because it does grant you a lot more energy. Seeing that both of those are going to be a, well, at least Meteor Mash is a double charge move. Dazzling Gleam will charge fairly fast with that Charge Beam. So we're looking great. Cool. Nice. Shiny Clefable. And I still have a whole bunch of Cleffas. So if anybody needs those and you meet me, you got another shiny that I would like, hey, let's talk about it. Alright, so let's take a look at my Nightmare Cup collection that I have going on here. A few new additions from last time. Haven't really run through all of the ones that I currently have since the announcement because I just kind of wanted to keep everything a bit secret. But for the people who are going to practice around with me for Nightmare Cup in the future, pay attention to what I have going on here, but I just might switch up a few moves. So we do have the Xatu sitting at 1500 exactly. This is going to be a 100% IV. I haven't purchased a secondary move, a little bit steep there, but what am I talking about? A little steep sitting over here with 5 million Stardust, and it's only going to cost 50,000. We can skip Lugia because, of course, legendaries are going to be banned, and that's completely understandable. Let's go over that for just a second here before we go on any further. If you do not like the bans, I mean, it works. We could have seen it a little bit sooner for the other cups, and it would have been maybe a little bit more enjoyable, seeing that everybody wouldn't have had the same one on their team because it was so meta relevant. And it's not necessarily anybody's fault for picking it. It's like, you know, basically if you can't beat them, join them. And if you don't have it on your team, you're going to fall behind. Not every situation, but for the most part, that's just the way Pokemon Go works. You're gonna have to have the best of the best. And so what do I think about these bans? You know, if we didn't have it, guess what? You would have seen this all over the place. You would have seen this here and there for the people who have and were able to trade and have it drop low enough to reach that Great League, as well as possibly Mew. And, you know, Spiritomb, or not Spiritomb, well, Spiritomb is going to be decent. And I do have battles going up against Bone Chip, AK, the champion for Alaska as far as PvP goes. He's basically won the most. And as soon as the Silph Road or the Silph Arena releases the leaderboards, I'm sure he is going to be on very tippy top. So as far as Sableye goes, do I think that it should have been banned? Well, it is pretty good. And if you're thinking, well, why not Spiritomb? Well, Sableye is a little bit better. See, it's reaching basically its almost peak potential when you max it out, much like Metacham. And Metacham is just very self-explanatory, Psychic and Fighting types with Power Up Punch and Psycho Cut. Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right. Would have been fun, you know, to use, I suppose, here and there. I personally have a 100 completely maxed out, and it doesn't go over 1500, so that's literally what you want to get. So it's not like I don't have one or something and I'm like, yes, people can't use the ones they have. I personally have one maxed out way before PvP as well. But the bans are necessary to some degree. And I will be looking forward to the future bans and see what they have going on. Anyways, with that said, now let's go ahead and look at the Pokemon that I've recently powered up. And we have Claydol here. Only took a couple power-ups. I've invested probably like, say like 75,000 in a few of these. Just because the fact that they're not going to only be going up against this cup here. In the future, we're going to have many different types, many different Pokemon that are going to be eligible for whatever situation, and they'll be ready to go. And with that said, I also have the Alolan Raticate from the Twilight Cup powered up, so it's a pretty good option as well. And then we have Skuntank that's actually magnificent in specific situations. And then if we go down here, we have the Drapion. So let's take it a step back here, right? Let's talk about this. So going up against a few trainers and they're using Xatu, it works great. Toxicroak and the fighting types obviously have to look out for it. Then you have Machamp with Rock Slide that can combat it to some degree. And if you're using Machamp, that's, you know, it's a pretty good fighting type Pokemon, but I'm going to make a little recommendation for you. If we go down to Hariyama, so say you get stuck up against a Toxicroak and you're using your Machamp, Counter, Dynamic Punch, and Rock Slide. All of those moves are not going to be very effective towards that Toxicroak. They made their switch, you were stuck in a bad situation, and you had to switch into your Machamp for whatever reason. all right, and you're locked in going up against a Toxicroak. You're not going to be doing much damage, and the Toxicroak is probably going to take you out with Mud Shot or some sort of Dynamic Punch or possibly Sludge Bomb. On the other hand, if you do have Hariyama, Heavy Slam will be dealing neutral damage to it, and I've done it many times. It works fantastic. If you hit them up with a Dynamic Punch and they let it go through, or they blocked it, the next time around they'll probably be thinking, okay, another Dynamic Punch is going to be coming, so I'm just going to not shield up, and then bam, you hit him with Heavy Slam and it does a whole ton of damage. So just a little food for thought there. I think Hariyama is going to be the better option. Not necessarily better, probably just for that specific situation. All right, now moving along here, we do have Infernape, which I'm not going to really recommend to you, okay? You don't want to use it in this cup. As far as this one right here, Blaziken, it can find some good usabilities going up against, say, Shiftry or possibly Toxicroak. Yes, counter's not going to be super effective, but they're down to no shields. Brave Bird will take it out in one shot no matter what, even if they have full health basically. So just think about it there. Not going to be your best fighting type Pokemon to use, but it is still on the table. Alolan Raticate works fantastic going up against those psychic type Pokemon. It is going to be dark and normal, extremely weak to fighting, and it's to the point where it's so weak like Toxicroak to psychic that you have to be on point with your switch. And you're going to have to make that decision immediately if you want to even switch. Those few seconds that you spend trying to do that, it's going to be pretty much fainted. It's just the way it is, unfortunately, because it is so frail going up against fighting type moves. And then we have Hitmonchan. It's going to be on the pretty much one of your best fighting type Pokemon to go into this, even more so than Lucario, with counter and power up punch. Now for the secondary move, that's going to be up to you. It does have quite a few moves that you can pick and choose from. You also have Thunder Punch, Ice Punch, so you can make your choice there. I'm going to go with Fire Punch for now, simply because I don't want to TM it. It has such a vast move pool, you never know what you're going to get. Like a box of chocolates. So I'm just going to hold off on it. I was lucky enough to get Power Up Punch after about 5 TMs on this, and I am looking great. So Hitmonchan has served me well in the future, and it should do great in the Nightmare Cup. Shiftry is something you're definitely going to want to look into, okay? Because it does have Razor Leaf, Leaf Blade, and Foul Play. All are magnificent moves and can put in work. That Razor Leaf is going to be doing massive damage, even to things that it's not very effective to. So yeah, I like the performance of it, and it works great. Lucky I was able to power this one up, 1490, and it was just sitting around. I was probably thinking I wanted to use it for PvP in the future, but I wasn't powering it up quite yet. Have a secondary move, and we're looking great. Alolan Raichu, this one's going to be obviously chocolate shiny here. We do have Thunder Punch and Wild Charge, as well as Spark for the quick move. I did have Psychic, but I was thinking, okay, going up against a fighting type Pokemon, all right, we're going to be doing super effective damage, but on the other hand, we might as well just go with Wild Charge for a stronger electric move. You know, Psychic, Wild Charge, they're both almost going to be doing the same amount of damage in a specific situation. So we'll just roll with that for now and see how well it performs. I haven't used it with Wild Charge yet, but we'll check that out. Sharpedo is very frail, but it's going to be dishing out a whole lot of damage. I haven't purchased a secondary move because I just want to see the performance first. If it performs great going up against a Psychic Pokemon with, say, Confusion, which it will be resisting because it is going to be a Dark type Pokemon, if it can at least take that, then I might consider it. Otherwise, I think I'm just going to have to hold off, because that's, you know, $50,000 Stardust down the drain. And yeah, I think Crunch and Waterfall works good for now. We'll just have to wait, check out the performance. Then we have Mightyena. Haven't used it yet whatsoever. It's going to be weak to fighting, resisting Psychic, of course. Fire Fang, Play Rough, and Poison Fang. I haven't TM'd it since the last time I used it. I did change the quick move, as a matter of fact, from Bite, I think. No, I didn't. I kept Fire Fang. Slowbro, I am going to recommend this right here. Great Pokemon. Good tankiness, good stamina, great moves, Confusion, Ice Beam, and if you wanted to purchase a secondary move, you may want to go with Water Pulse. You can go with Psychic, although you already have Confusion doing massive Psychic damage already. So having a bigger variety of moves on this Pokemon for backup. And then we have Metagross. It's not going to be your best option, but I haven't really used it. I did go up against somebody else who did, and it was okay. And then we have Hypno. Now, if you do have a Shadow Ball, one of these, that's going to be Legacy and absolutely fantastic It also can learn Focus Blast, so it does have coverage to go up against those dark type Pokemon, as well as Confusion. So it'll be able to cover the darks, the fightings, and then the Shadow Ball. You have neutral damage to a couple different types there. So yeah, I mean, this one's pretty good, and it is fairly tanky. Look at the HP, 140, so that is no joke. And then you have Lucario, if you are lucky enough to have one of these. We have Counter, Power Up, Punch, and Shadow Ball. I haven't changed the moves, and there is no need to. We're just going to stick with it. You don't really want Flash Cannon. You can if you want to go with it, but Shadow Ball is going to be your better option right now. Hitmonchan, I did power it up. As you can see, 1484 counter and close combat, 75,000 for a secondary move. Not going to even consider purchasing that. If I did, I may go with Stone Edge, possibly to counter those flying type Pokemon. But at the end of the day, you're going to almost be fainted if you're even able to get off that Stone Edge. It can take hits, and it does dish out a good amount of damage, but there's going to be better fighting types like Hitmonchan and even Hariyama. And then we do have my Slow King right here, Confusion, Fire Blast, and Psychic, all single charge moves for PvP. So yeah, I mean, it can take hits, and it can dish out a good amount of damage, but you're better off just going with the Slowbro. And then we have Glade. I am very happy with this performance. I haven't purchased secondary move because it is kind of steep. I'm pretty much considering it, but here's the downfall. If I do go for a secondary move, it's going to be a single charge fighting move, which takes forever to finally get up. And you know, it can be worth it, but at the end of the day, you might as well just keep going with Leaf Blade. And if you're going up against a Xatu or something, you might as well just keep going with Leaf Blade. By the time you're able to finally get off that single charge fighting move, you're almost going to be fainted with the quick attacks coming from it if it does have, say, a quick flying move. So this one right here, we're going to focus on more in the future. I'm just going to give you my thoughts and rundown right now on the Pokemon I currently have. But Glade, you definitely want to give it a shot, right? Hariyama, fantastic. Pretty tanky, 185 HP, sitting at 1480 CP, which is pretty good. So you see it has a fairly good bulk to it, and it does dish out the damage. It's not like it's going to just have a bunch of stamina and defense and no attack. That's not the case. It actually dishes it out. Counter, Heavy Slam, Dynamic Punch, that's basically what you want to go with. Toxicroak is an absolutely fantastic one for this cup. The only thing is there's so much confusion roaming around that sounds funny, that it's just very risky using it. But there are those dark as well as poison mixes, which will just absolutely get destroyed if you are using it with Counter, Sludge Bomb, and then, you know, Mud Bomb, of course, which is going to charge extremely fast. Counter is just doing a lot of damage. Toxicroak is just a great Pokemon for PvP all around. So that is another thing you want to consider. It would be super effective to this Alola Muck here, which is only going to be weak to ground. Do have Poison Jab, Acid Spray, and Dark Pulse. It is an okay option. It's okay. Bite will be doing devastating damage, but its energy gain is not going to be the best. Acid Spray is only doing 20 damage, but you're not really trying to use that to do the damage. You're trying to simply lower their defense so you can eat into their health faster with a quick move. Well, that's at least the way I see it. I'm not trying to lower their defense to do more damage with a charge move, because you have to take advantage of those quick moves like Bite. Especially if you lower the defense, you'll be looking great. Soul Rock, I think I powered this up once. Let me see where it lands again. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I bring it up once or twice. So it does have Confusion. I did use a couple TMs on that, so I can get that moveset there. That would be great to go up against a Xatu if you were able to get off that Rock Slide, which you should simply be able to do it, because the Zatus usually would have a quick flying move, which it will not be super effective to your Soul Rock, and you will have a counter move for your charge. And that I did power this up too. It didn't take much Stardust, and you were thinking, why are you powering up all these Pokemon? Because it only took a couple power-ups, and it's going to be worth it having them in the future. Let's see where this one's going to land. This is probably not going to be my best Starmie. I could have powered up. I should probably start that as well, because it is sitting at 1476. That's not too good whatsoever. It's a little low there, but Water Gun and Psychic, and if you have some sort of hidden power trickery, you could use that as well. If you do have a Legacy Exeggutor with Confusion, that is something you may want to use. Otherwise, I'm not going to be using that. It just had it at that CP. Honchkrow, you're better off using Murkrow. That's the way I look at it. This thing is way too frail. It can't take hits, not even from things that it's resisting. It's really just It's sad, unfortunately, but it works great in raids if you completely power it up. It's just one of these Pokemon that has a higher CP potential, and the lower you have it for a league like that, the worse it's going to perform. So yeah, that's unfortunate there. Now I did power this up. I'm not going to be buying a secondary move, and here is the trick. If you cannot get your hands on a Hypno with Shadow Ball, this is going to be a great substitute here because, well, it does learn Shadow Ball, and, well, getting your hands on one of those Hypno with Shadow Ball is going to be quite difficult unless you know somebody. And then moving down the line here, we have other Pokemon. We have Gardevoir. Now I was deciding whether or not I want to go with Confusion or Charge Beam, because Charge Beam is going to enable you to gain more energy for those charge moves, and you'll be able to get them off faster. But I don't know where Gardevoir is going to stand too much in this meta. It's not looking too hot for it because there's plenty of other Pokemon that you can use for Confusion, like the one next to it, the Slowbro. Then you have Tyranitar, Breloom. I don't really think, I mean, it puts off massive damage, but it's very frail, so I don't know about that one. But on the other hand, Drapion here is looking fantastic. It is only going to be weak to ground type. And then with Infestation, very good quick move for energy gain for those Crunch and Aqua Tails there. It's going to be doing quite a lot of damage, especially if you can just spam them with neutral damage with Aqua Tail. Then you have that super effective Crunch to Psychic type Pokemon if you needed to do so, as well as Infestation is going to be super effective to Bug types too. Tyranitar, I don't know if you really want to try it out. I haven't personally used it yet, but we can get into that. Video is getting kind of long, so we're going to cut it short here. So in between editing this, I did go out and do some grinding here. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. So let's go ahead and take a look at my most recent, so you can see exactly what I just caught. A Buneary, another shiny here, so that's going to be number 2. I do have a Lopunny shiny as well as one of these now. So this is quite a nice day regarding shiny Pokemon, 4 of them. And let's just go ahead and put in shiny and see what we have for recent here. Not that shiny, there we go. So looking great, look at that. Anyways, with that said, trainers, I'd like to say thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. Let's shiny check, shall we? If we get a shiny here, man, I just, come on. Nope, no shinies. Oh well. At least I have these spawns in my house. I don't typically have these, but when we do have these like little events going on here, I do get extra spawns, so that's pretty nice. So anyways, thank you for watching, trainers, and I'll be catching you all next time. Take care.